Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a PCM test. This is actually a customer computer. He sent his original computer a little over a year ago or so. I have to actually check that, but his computer was not repairable, so I found a donor one. He purchased it directly, and then it worked out in his car for a very long time. His concerns now says, let me just actually move you over to the connections and then to the information. I'm going to do a test for him to see if the computer is a problem or if he has a problem on the car. Right, as you can see, I have the computer connected. This tier tag number is EBM1, very specific for 2001 01Excursion 7.3 liters diesel. All right, so as I normally do, I have created a folder, and now actually it's going to be a folder inside a folder from this visit. Let me see, when was he before here? Just before I move you over to... Actually, it was in January of 2025. So a little less than a year. Let me move into the second folder. And yes, now you are there. All right, so you can see now, this is the actual whole computer. He sent the key. I don't need a key for this system, but he sent it either way. He was doing some tests. He said that he checked, as we read in here. Let me actually get closer. This is just so you can see the part number and the tier tag, that the EBM1, very specific to this vehicle. It says CS attached, no communication from PCM to OBD2 port. And then he sent me this note in here. Let me just make it a little bigger. It says, currently I have 3 issues. Checking a light is on. Cannot connect to OBD2 analyzer with PCM through the data link port. The mass intake heater MIAH relay never turns off. I assume this is the reason for the checking a light coming on. The relay or all those letters has been deleted with something in there, diesel. Sorry, somebody calling. Deleted resistor in its place. So somebody put a resistor. So it's not really software. It's some resistor in place of the heater. I have tried 2 different OBD2 analyzers, and they both cannot connect with the PCM. They work fine with on other vehicles. I have checked all the continuity from the IDM through the injectors. I have checked all the continuity from the PCM through the data link connector port. Over the port, I have checked the keep alive power, key on power, and signals to ground, which is that node that you saw here, right? And on here, he put, like he took the time to actually draw what he was doing the test, and I applaud that. I went a little further, as normally do, and found, where that heater is connected. So I have the wire diagram for his concern. So let me get a little bigger image. Let me get a box so you can see where I am, because this is going to be for him as well. So we have right here at the bottom the power control module, the PCM, and we have here the manifold intake air heater relay, right? So this will command, by the computer, commanded on, and then will supply power for this heater, which is connected to the a ground on the other side. So this was the original setup, and he put a resistor in place because he's not using that heater. This will also go through a fuse link and supply power to the computer, as far as I understand here, when this is on, as a confirmation in number 3. But this pin 98 on the computer will send the ground command on pin 86 to the computer, and this is a little bit different, because usually 86 is power side, but I mean, you can realistically use either one. Pin 30 is constant power. We can see here coming from the generator, or that's the battery connector, right? Battery positive wire, and then 87 through the heater. Now we don't know this M right here, because terminal 85, it says, is coming from M, and page 27.1 or 27.2, depends on the diagram. But let's go over to 27.1. So this is 27. Let me get another box of those so you know where I am. So, okay, let me get here. Yeah, as you can see, I can make it a little bigger so we can see that better. But yeah, so we have M coming from 27.6, and this is very important, right? So this is M, the page that we were before, right at the top here. Look, it says 27.6. And it's only 127.6 because there's multiple differences without California, with California, pickup, excursion, but when they're the same, they just add it like that. So it's 27.6, so we are in M, and if we follow that wire, that will come from terminal 87 from the PCM relay, and that is coming from the battery. It's a terminal 30 through a fuse, so 20 amp fuse, and it will be, again, sending power when the computer closes this relay. Well, actually, it's not even the computer. It looked like, well, we'll have to see into those, but we don't really care about that one. All we really care is what is coming from this wire AM, and that is a power. So going back to here, now we know that terminal 85 is power, and terminal 86, it has to be a ground control from the computer. So that is in quick steps what that is connected to that manifold heater. I have connected, give me 1 second, guys. I'm waiting for my mailman, and I need to keep that. That's what I'm keeping an eye on the iPad, because it can come at any minute. That it's usually at 11, at 12, at 1, at 2, at 3. It's never at a specific time. So I have my Ring camera view in my iPad, so I can keep an eye on that, because to not miss the shipping outs. But yeah, so those are the quick steps to at least describe his concern with the intake heater relay. I have connected a wire right here to pin 98. Remember, that's exactly where we were pin 98, and then to a test light connected to battery positive. I can check or show you that, because give me 1 second. Always, and very important, to test your equipment before you do tests to make sure it's working, because what if that bulb was burned and I'm doing a test and saying that it's working or not working, and then nothing happens. But if you see right here, every time I touch now power and ground, that test light works. So the test light is good. I'm waiting for a ground, which is exactly where I was connected in there. And now I am connected onto pin 98, and the test light is not on. So Kenneth, I forgot, I don't know if I mentioned his name, Kenneth Kepler from, I think it's Connecticut. Let me just make sure I'm saying that right. No, North Carolina. Kenneth Kepler from North Carolina. This is your setup. So yeah, so we have two things, or already one thing is the relay that you said is always on is not always on in here. So something else is grounded that in the car, but we need to make sure that we can establish communication, because maybe right now the computer is just dead, not talking. But I already, before I started the video, I was able to talk to the computer and read fault codes. So let me put the SUS. I'm using the Snap-on SUS. And as you can see right there, I have to manually select it. I'm going to actually, in the video with you, do an automatic ID and see if it does it. This is a 2001. So in this 7.3, I have encountered in multiple occasions. Sometimes, I mean, by luck, the scanner reads it, but in most of the cases, it does not. But before we go there, well, I want to show you that I'm actually reading fault codes. I can go into, let me go into, not here, into, because those are all like data pits. I have nothing connected, but maybe I can read the battery voltage. Sometimes it gives me accessories menus in here. Let me see if I have anything that shows battery voltage. I got one that says 13.8 right here. So let me make that a graph. Too many clicks. So we had 13.8. I'm going to move the voltage on my my power supply, and you can see how the voltage went up back to where it was. I'm going to go down and then up, and you can see the change. So that scanner is not directly connected to the computer. It's actually, I have a BCI, a wireless BCI. Let me move this so you can see it. So it's a wireless BCI connected to my test box, and then through the wires connected here. So yes, I am connected to his computer. But let's disconnect, because this is very important. And I have explained this in multiple vehicles, especially with the 7.3s. If you connect you turn the ignition on and connect the scanner and try to read the vehicle and does not connect, just keep it connected and just cycle the key. Cycle the key back and off and then on, and I guarantee you will establish communication. But so again, before we go out of the communication, I want to see if we have any functional test for that heater. I'll put a stage cell test, engine off, turn on conditioning, powertrain control, RPM, and if equipped. Let me see if it's established. No, I didn't do it, right? It just went out. No. And this is the problem with the Snap-on. I should have used the tab done. And this is also what I'm trying to show you here, what happened with a bad tool. The Snap-on is really, really bad lately with anything. It's not working. So I cannot even do a test on here. Let me see if it's any switch, because I mean, this is not a switch. Turn off XXC. Test aborted. So yeah, you see it's not doing anything. Module ID, global test. I don't need to see that. Let me see what the module ID is going to be. Might not be supported. Let me see if it reads the beans or not. Yeah, you see it's not reading anything. Very poor software, but I mean, it's a 2001, but yeah. So right now I disconnected the scanner. You see that I'm going to power off the computer, but I'm going to keep the scanner on in there. So I'm going to power off. This is like me when I connect this. I'm going to turn everything on. So now the computer is back on. The scanner BCI is powering up because I turned all the power off, which is also powering on that in there. So let's try to establish communication. I want to see, yes, it has not connected yet. So at the bottom of the scanner view, you see the one has like the second image on the right side bottom corner has like a slash line, white line. That is the BCI. That should be blue and connected. It has not established communication yet. It is on. So let's wait for that to come on. And I want to at least show you with the Snap-on that we can do the communication. So now we do have the connectivity done. Okay, we're going to do manual selection first, just to establish 4. See first if it does an automatic ID, which I honestly doubt it. But let's see. You see, vehicle does not support automatic ID, and I don't blame the scanner in here because in these vehicles years, I know that is the case. So we're going to manually select it. So it's a 2001. As a U4, which is Excursion, and then F for a 7.3 liters. Right, once I'm here, I'm going to enter engine and powertrain module, automatic transmission with air conditioning. Let's enter the code menu just to see something, if we are indeed reading or connected or not. So memory codes. You see no communication. You will be like, oh, well, Mike, it's not communicating. Well. Yes, relax. Click exit. Don't stay there, because otherwise the scanner will try to keep going to the communication. And now cycle the ignition, cycle the key. Right, so ignition off. Ignition back on. Couple of seconds. And now let's try it again. Memory codes. Continue. And voila. Is anything wrong with the computer? Absolutely not. At least not for communication. So I don't have the heater relay always on, and I have communication with your computer, Kenneth. So let me connect the top down. I'm going to power completely off, and we're going to start from scratch with the top down. So let me plug the top down. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I got now the Phoenix connected. Let me show you that in the back. So now I have the BCI. It's all powered off, so but the scanner is on. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the Snap-on. So I'm going to power everything on. I got to wait for the BCI right there, right in the back, where I'm pointing with my finger. Okay, it's coming on, but it's not full power on. And we're going to try to establish a communication with the scanner, like automatic ID first, which I know now we know that Snap-on couldn't do it. And I don't think it's a Snap-on. I think it's no scanner will do it, because in this vehicle, you probably will need to have the instrument cluster and other modules to completely read the VIN number. And sometimes not even that. If you don't have communication, just cycle the key like I show you, and you'll see that that will do the magic. All right, I think we are good to go. So let's do an auto scan first. So I'm going to keep it on the scanner so we can do that, see that quickly. And then when we're going over to the test, I will move or put the window in the screen so you guys can see that better. You see no communication with that, so we're going to skip that. This is going to open now the manual part. American Ford. This is going to open the software. This is very different than the Snap-on. The Snap-on is very different because it has a built-in own software. This is specific for every manufacturer. All right, so we're going to do a manual selection, vehicle selection, Ford. And we're going to look for the Excursion 7.3 liters. I'm just reading you because you're probably far, so maybe put the view now so you can see. Yeah, direct injection turbo, and then the year 2001. Switch ignition to the on position. Okay, so far until here, it's not even trying to attempt communication because this is just establishing what vehicle you want to connect to. Okay, yes, it is, because I manually entered it. So this is going to load just kind of like a topology of what that vehicle might have, and this is what we see here. So let's enter the PCM and see if we have communication this time, which I think we should not. You see, module is not responding. So we're getting the same exact reaction just because we have connected it that way. So what we need to do is now click yes in here. So give me 1 second. Sorry, it was my mother-in-law making a couple of questions. But yeah, so we have the same situation, no communication. So all we need to do is now cycle the key. Just ignition, right? So don't disconnect the battery, because what happens in here is the module was not connected. So I'm just going to cycle the ignition. And we're going to attempt to enter again. And we can see immediately a different reaction. I'm not sure, well, that's kind of, I mean, that view is not really showing it. I have already different, like you see, this is stop team viewer is slow, but I'm already in the view of selecting fault codes and so on. Not in the team viewer part. You see, it's still showing like we haven't even entered. So I'm going to move the scanner here to see when that actually updates. So we're going to go into read fault code. It's not updating on TeamViewer. Read or retrieve constant memory DTCs. And if we have communication, see, finally it's updating. We have the full code. So we are indeed there. All right, so we do have communication. Let's see if with this scanner, I can go into special functions, or no, sorry, actuation tests. No, not in actuation tests. Function, let me see special functions. Transmission, fuel economy, PCM module, reset memory. It looks like we don't have any bidirectional control. So yeah, I was talking loud about better scanner than a Snap-on, but it looks like yeah, on this year model, there is not much I can do. But it's kind of weird that it's not even showing me the injector buses. Shift solenoid. No, this is not what I want to do. So in this case, look like the top down is not the best. And also reading 2000. Let me go back. Did I select a 2000 or 2001? Because that is very important. Let me go back. Yes, I want to exit. Yeah, I selected 2001. Sometimes if you select the older year, it does. Let me see, it's saying 2000. So no, let me select 2002 and see what it does. No, this one says 2002. Let's select it as 2002. It makes no difference, but it might make a difference on the software activations that we might have, because I guarantee you that I will be able to talk. As you can see, maybe it's more modules in there, but we already established communication. You don't need to switch the ignition on and off because we're already there. It's already loading it on my scanner. I know it has not updated in there. Let me just see if the actuation test is different. No, shift solenoid is still the same. Special functions, transmission, no output test. Module information. Yeah, nothing in here. So yeah, for this one, nothing, not even the injector bus test. So in this case, Snap-on is better because Snap-on was giving us the injector bus test, which is very important because when you're doing the injector bus test, that's the only way that I can check the IDMs and so on. But there is no actual actuation that I can do with any scanners, Kenneth, to show you that the problem is, sorry, let me just actually go back to here. I wanted to remove the Phoenix and nothing else because I wanted to see if I can actuate that heater, which is not on. But we have plenty of communication, so I know it's just 22 minutes of trying different tools and everything, but sometimes this is important like that. You can see what a tool can do or not. And also Kenneth can understand the limitations of a 2000, 2001 computer, right? So this is very important. And sometimes the only scanner that can do the buzzer test, it might be a Snap-on. I have not tried, and I can try probably in the next video in another vehicle. Maybe they'll tell to see what the differences are in here. But yeah, the top-down looks like on 2000 modules, models is definitely not the tool to go. In this case, I would rather use the Snap-on, even though it's a slower communication or so. But I got more bi-directional controls, which are at the end very important. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. If you're here and you have not subscribed to the channel, please help me with that. That really helps my small business a lot. Every time you do so, YouTube promotes more and more my videos, and that's how you find me. It's also for free, so thank you so much if you can help my business. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.